Good morning and welcome to episode 8 of Tandatula Soap Safaris. We have got an extra early start this morning, and it's also a family edition because even Luke has joined us for this one. And the reason that we've headed out so early is because yesterday afternoon, or evening, just after sunset, there was a report that 2 cheetahs were found coming onto these open clearings out in the eastern part of our reserve. And because it's been almost a year since I last saw Cheetah, I wasn't going to pass up an opportunity to come and look for them. Cheetahs are very diurnal, daytime active animals. So yesterday evening when they were found it was already almost dark. So the chances are very good that they would have actually just come and rested up on one of these clearings here by an area called Little Serengeti. And I'm hoping that by getting out here early, it's not even 6 o'clock yet, 5:45, that they are still going to potentially be out in the open. So fingers crossed. I'm hedging a lot of bets on this because I was meant to be looking for a leopard this morning, but let's see if some spots of a different kind are going to show. Okay. We are not having any joy with our cheetahs yet. I'm using yet because I'm still positive and optimistic we're going to find them. Nothing on the area where they were seen yesterday evening, so we're just going to have to be checking some of these more open plains surrounding them, see if perhaps we get lucky. We're attracted to some lions coming through the area. They may have also disturbed the cheetahs, caused them to move on, but we're going to keep on trying. It's a rare opportunity for us. Oh, hi, sorry. I'm cheating. We can just hear a male lion roaring. Just getting a fix on his location. He's not too far behind us. Maybe on Tortillas Plains up towards Mashatan Dam, where we are going to be checking for the cheetah, but it doesn't bode well for a cheetah finding. They, being such a lightweight predator, they try to avoid as much competition as they can. So the lions are in the area. Cheetahs are far less likely to still be here, but let us see. Which way are your tracks going?
Lion track?
Yeah.
South. It just looks like one lone lioness.
Let's check at the end of this clearing. I'll drink your beer. I'll drink your beer. This is a bird that got everyone in the reserve quite excited yesterday when I posted my Instagram TV video of me filming him sitting on a rock just like this, doing the call. It's called a Shelley's Francolin. Not very common in this area, but to see a little bit more of this, make sure you tune into our Instagram account and check on the IGTV channel.
First time I'm seeing it.
We have sitting here a Wahlberg's eagle, not named after the burger joint rapper / actor Mark Wahlberg, but rather a Swedish biologist. And these Wahlberg eagles are one of our migratory species. They are getting very close to heading back to North Africa, probably only a couple of weeks. Some of the migrants have already headed home, but these guys are one of the first to come into South Africa every year. They set up their nests and they breed, and then by early April they make the trip back. It's a medium-sized raptor, but very, very pretty with those yellow legs and the yellow cere by the beak. In one of our previous episodes, I asked of you 2 questions. One of them was relating to our blue wildebeest, and I was asking what the correct collective noun for a group of wildebeest was. So congratulations to all of you that said an implausibility of wildebeest. It's just a remarkable display of how pedantic and precise English language can be. But yeah, a group of wildebeest is called an implausibility. So I don't know if we can actually technically use this because we're just looking at a single male wildebeest here. He's not an old guy, he's not a loser. In fact, he's actually the dominant male of this area. We find many lone bulls just staking out their claim on a piece of land, and people feel sorry for them because they are alone. But he has actually got probably one of the prime wildebeest spots in the reserve. Wildebeest, as water-dependent animals, will be visiting this dam on a daily basis. Nice open surrounds around here. So all he has to do is sit and wait, and he knows that the wildebeest will eventually come, and then he can turn from a lone guy into an implausibility. So that's what he is waiting for, but not prepared to relinquish his territory until then. So this is turning into a birding morning. Another pretty special bird for the area. A little family of southern ground hornbills. Now you're going to say, Chad, how can those be ground hornbills? They're sitting in a tree, but we did actually see them earlier flying into this area. They spend most of their day on the ground. They'll be walking around in the long grass, eating really whatever they can, from insects, frogs, baby tortoises. Seen them walking around with snakes, puff adders in their beaks, baby scrub hares. So they're carnivorous, very, very wide range of food that they'll go for. But they have got the ability to fly. Very, very beautiful to see them in flight with their white primary tipped wings. And they will spend every night roosting in these trees, just for safety's sake. Okay. Competition time. Can Chad spot the chameleon that Luke has seen? There is Mr. Chameleon. At least the rear half of a chameleon. Disappearing. He's doing his best to hide away here, and as a result of that, we're not going to try and pick him up or pull him out of here. He's already had a run-in with something. You can see how he's looks to be molting skin or sloughing skin on the tip of his tail. But he's also missing the tip of his tail, so some old injury there. Let me just see if I can get his head. There we go, there's his eye. This is a flap-necked chameleon. And while you might read a lot about chameleons and how they use their colour-changing ability for everything but camouflage, such as dominance displays or mating displays, these flap-necked chameleons are very much about changing colour to suit the environment. So he's immediately going into that darker green shade, and his colour has changed from when Luke first spotted him, but very, very well camouflaged. What I have managed to find while marking my own territory was a rather beautiful elegant grasshopper. And look at the colours on this lady. Now, it is a lady because she's quite a lot bigger than they would normally be. The males are much smaller, often found riding on the back of the female we're trying to mate, but without doubt one of our most colourful insects around. Almost no colour that is not present on this guy. Yellow, green, black, blue, red, orange, white, and very, very visible, clearly indicative of its, telling the world that it's there. But what you find is that when you get such brightly coloured insects, it's a warning sign. This is something called aposematic coloration, and it's telling the birds, I'm here, but you don't want to eat me. These are warnings to other animals that there's going to be some foul tasting substances inside, and as a result the birds tend to leave them alone. Now you can jump away as you were doing earlier. No? Yes, no? See, very, very small wings. Did actually have an amazing sighting recently. I don't know if I told you about that, Luke, of one flying. Every now and then they do get slightly longer wings, and all my guiding career, it was the first time I've ever seen one flying. He's going to be very unobliging now. While he's staying, you can look at that face. Sorry. So if you thought there was a happy man finding and seeing leopard cubs, you've got an equally happy, maybe even slightly happier man finding 2 cheetahs. After a morning of searching, we're now 2.5 hours into our search. We have eventually located, and when I say we, once again camera woman Britt has spotted them. They've come and lay down on the road now, so we're going to see if we can get a bit closer. But 2 male cheetahs. It's my first sighting in almost a year. Fist pumps. This is absolutely incredible. I have so many requests for cheetah from guests visiting here, and every time we come into this eastern section, I always tell them that it's a great area for cheetahs. Even literally yesterday afternoon driving through here, commented that this is an excellent place for cheetah, and the person said, "Did we see cheetahs here?" I said, "No, never." Anyway, 12 hours later we're sitting watching 2. They are a species that uses their speed, known as being the fastest land mammals in the world, with stated fastest speeds of 112 kilometers per hour. they need open grasslands to be able to achieve those speeds, to get fast enough to chase their prey down. And where that open air is lacking, cheetahs tend to be far less in evidence. But even in the Kruger Park, an area of 30,000 square kilometers, they estimate that there's only probably around 150 to 200 cheetahs living within it. And most of them are going to be concentrated on the basalt plains on the eastern border, as well as the southern grasslands, which doesn't leave very many to wander around in these central regions. So yeah, we take every chance we can get to spend time with them, and my average at the moment is about one chance a year. So let me hope that this is not going to be it, but really, really fantastic that we found them and that we can share the sighting with you folks back home. And we've now got to within about 15 meters of them. It's getting warm now, so they've quite wisely chosen a little shady spot just to rest up in. You can see the mouths open, panting a little bit, trying to keep their bodies cool. Their bellies are looking relatively full, so I'm not sure if they maybe had something to eat yesterday afternoon or already had some success this morning. There's no evidence of blood on their chins or their whiskers, which you would often see if they'd eaten very, very recently. But we're going to spend some time with them. It's a luxury we have now without any other guests other there, because that when we find these animals, there's no need to move on. So we'll see what they get up to. They're still very alert, very awake. They haven't settled for the day yet, so we'll spend a little bit more of our morning watching them. It's just incredible to see those little tails flicking up from time to time. At the moment being used as a fly swatter, but when they do lift them up, you'll see how fat and thick they are. One thing that happens when cheetahs are sprinting down after their prey, the prey doesn't run in a straight line. The antelopes are zigzagging away, hoping that the cheetahs are going to overshoot or lose their balance. And to help this, cheetahs use these tails as a counterbalance, and they swing them in the opposite direction just to try and allow them to turn almost as quickly as the prey that they're chasing. They haven't got strength, they haven't got power, but what they've got is speed. So as these antelopes are running away, they literally smack them with their back paw. They've got a very sharp dew claw, their fifth toe, just above the paw, and they try to hook that into the prey, pull down, knock them off balance, and before the dust is settled, they've got their relatively small jaws around the prey, suffocating them. It would be incredible if we could show you a sequence like that, but I'm not going to count my eggs just yet. You can see quite nicely as this cheetah faces us one of the very characteristic markings that they have, and those are those tear marks that go from the inside corner of the eye to the mouth. And a lot of theories, as with most things, as to why they have originated. Some suggest that it's because they're daytime active. The dark patterning around the eye is going to absorb the light rather than reflect it into the eye and cut down the glare. Others think that it might just be an easier facial recognition pattern for one cheetah to recognize another cheetah should it have its head in the kill and suddenly look up and be faced with another cat, to easily know that it is a cheetah. But for whatever reason they have it, it is one of their most distinctive markings, one of the easier ways to tell them apart from leopards. Also, if you look at the general coat, it's nicely spotted, individual single black spots. Leopards technically have rosettes and not spots. Rosettes are clusters of black spots together with a darker center, and that is another trait that separates, or differentiates rather, between leopards and cheetahs. While on the topic of the differences between cheetahs and leopards, you'll see very nicely here, and this is actually not just the difference between cheetahs and leopards, but cheetahs and the other large cats, your lions, your leopards, and tigers. Cats generally have retractile claws, which means that those claws stay within the claw sheaths while they're walking around and only come out for fighting or hunting. This keeps those claws very, very sharp. Cheetahs have evolved their claws to stay out permanently. As a result of that, a lot of wear and tear on them, and that makes them quite blunt and quite ineffective for hunting. But the reason that they've done this is what it does give them is the advantage when running, because those claws dig into the ground the same way that a sprinter's spikes on his shoes would, and just allow them to increase their speed slightly. As I said earlier, they do have a dew claw, which doesn't sit on the ground, doesn't touch the ground when they're walking. It's just above the paw, a little bit up the leg. and that is their sharp claw that they will then use for hunting. But yeah, you can see very nicely now how those claws stay out. Okay, so we have been very patient this morning, patient in our search for these guys. We put in a lot of effort, a lot of miles covered, but we eventually found them. And now we've spent almost an hour with them, just waiting for them to wake up. But the morning's wearing on, 9:30 now, and they are not showing any signs of wanting to do much other than cool themselves down or keep themselves cool in the shade of this tree. So we're going to say goodbye to them. It has been an absolute pleasure and privilege to be able to spend some good quality time in their company. And with a bit of luck, they end up hanging around in the area for a couple of days. So we will check up again here tomorrow, and maybe even this afternoon. We'll see how it goes. But I hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to start making our way back to camp. Over.
Bit of a spider issue. Thank you very much for driving me into that chat.
Pick it up. You're on camera, Luke. Pick it up.
No, thank you.
No. He's in the tree. Just you see the branch right in front of you there?
This one.
No, a little bit lower.
This one.
No, towards your left.
This one.
The one under your chin right now.
This one.
No, the small branch.
This one.
That one, yeah. Move that out the way and look inside.
Now it makes sense. I can see it at last. Hello. Okay, he doesn't really want to be held for too long. Take two. This is not going anywhere. Other than the recycle bin. Okay, take three.
It's still not going.
You didn't have a choice.
Okay, yeah.